Hi there, I have a little bit different of an idea for you today, and I've given it kind of an unusual name for the video as well, Make 3 from 2. So I'm kind of just going to show you that I've taken 2 die cuts and I've cut them to create what looks like 3 die cuts. So I'll show you how that's done. The dies we'll be using in today's video include, from the mini Striplet range, the Rose Garden, the Heraldic Square from the Frames and Tags, and I've just used the center of the Dainty oval frame to cut my sentiment out with. It's got a really nice, very thin oval, and it hides the cut line beautifully. One of the things I want to show you is how to cut some of the multi-layered dies too, because I have a lot of people that ask me about this. When there's separate cutting edges within dies, it is actually easier to cut them in sections. So just to show you how I prefer to do it is I'm going to cut the Heraldic Square, and I'm going to start with the center of it, which is the most detailed. Just give it a little bit of tape there right in the center. Bring my cutting plates out. Give it a quick run through. Okay, let's check it. That looks like it's nicely cut. So what I do is I pop it out of place. I can emboss now if I prefer. There we go. And then take the second section. And the reason for this is sometimes it just allows you to get into those areas of the really detailed dies easier. And so if you put them together, you might have to pass it through a couple times. And I always think, why struggle with it? If it does it in one pass with just a little bit of trading out of your dies, it's just easier, I think. So pop that into place, and let's tape that both sides. And run this one through. So we've got a nice clean cut on that. I do have some of these I've done ahead of time, so I'm not going to bother with popping out all the little pieces, but I can see that they've cleanly cut there. Just a little bit of running your finger around the inside and lifting from the edge as you go usually does the trick. There you go. So you have a nice clean cut die there. All right. So I hope that helps you a little bit in your die cutting. I hate to think anybody ever struggles with dies, and sometimes if you just do them in pieces, it makes it so much easier for you. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is cut the background, and I have already done 2 of the Rose Garden Striplet, and I'm lining up the inside because it comes in 2 separate pieces. So I'm just going to take this decorative part of it and line it up so it's about equal all the way across. There we go. Go back to my tape. Tape it both sides. There we go. Pop this through. This one's very detailed, so let's just check it and see if we need a second pass. Looks like all of that is cut beautifully. Go ahead and untape that. And just need to knock out all the little bits. Now I do have one that I've done ahead of time again, so I won't take up your time with that, but you can see really nice, makes a beautiful background like that. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is just to back it with some baby pink card. Just a little bit of glue on the back, and that will give you what you need. So you'll have your absolutely gorgeous rose striplet with the pink showing through that. Now for this card, I didn't want this background to be quite so prominent. So one of the things I love to do is to use a piece of vellum over the top of it, and it just makes it a little more subtle, kind of hazes it out a little bit, so it just becomes more background than focal. With Cosmic Shimmer glue, I have found that you can put a little bit in the corners, just a little daub, and then if you just wipe it flat with your finger, it doesn't really show. So let's just lay that over the top. I do like to put extra pearls in my card, so if you find that you've just gotten it a little heavy, then a pearl there is all you need, but it really does not show when it dries. It really is a beautiful glue to use with vellums. Okay, so I'll go ahead and start to build that up with my background. Gone ahead and pierced around the edge, kind of my signature, and we'll add this on there, and then we'll show you how to treat the die cuts. Oop, got that. Okay, so that's ready to go. I'll set that there. Now, with the die cuts, I have taken 2 of the Heraldic Squares, and what I'm going to do is bring in my paper cutter. I'm going to line these up so they're right on top of each other, as straight as I can get them, and bring them in and just cut it right here, just below the hook on both sides here, holding them together. There we go. Now these 2, the larger of the Heraldic Squares, can go together with a little bit of tape. Pop them right together. And don't worry about the fact that you're going across a really filigree area, because that will not show. And then these 2 can go together with a little bit of tape. Just line them up just like that. Okay, and I've got a couple I've done ahead of time, and I've added a bit of mounting foam, and you can see that you can clearly see that, but when we're finished, that sentiment will hide that really nicely. So just peel off my backing. I'm going to put that right into the middle of my background so it becomes the focal, and that looks nice. And then this smaller one, I've added some bigger pearls on the edges there. That'll hide the cut. Put this one right in the center of that. So you actually hidden the mounting foam from the first cut. And then the sentiment, like I said, is cut from that beautiful long, thin oval in the Dainty oval frame. Will hide the cut from this really nicely. Sometimes it's all about just disguising the things that you can do to your die cuts to make them work for you. So now we have a beautiful card, and it looks like you've used 3 die cuts there, even though it's just done from that Heraldic Square.